Hey YouTube and all of you wonderful people who have stayed with us even though we've taken a huge break from doing any YouTube videos. I have just been so incredibly busy that I have forgotten to make anything. And then I thought tonight, as Mia was having a super bad panic attack, hey, we should talk about what's going on. Because I know that what I'm facing is super typical for a lot of parents with kids with anxiety facing. And you're going to have to bear with me. I'm chopping. We had our wedding reception last night. We had a super small wedding, and we had like this destination wedding kind of. And so we had our reception last night with all of our family and friends, which if you follow the We family, I think you'll get to see Mia and Braylee hanging out because they came. And Mia has missed Braylee so incredibly much. It was so adorable. They're just the cutest things you've ever seen together. So, sorry for the shaky camera. So, over this summer, which we totally didn't blog at all, I'm sorry guys, we had a neuropsych eval done on Mia. Michael already had his, which is how we have his ADHD diagnosis so young. So it was time for Mia to get hers done. And we did hers at Centricare here in our town. And I was absolutely impressed with how it went. It went so well. And what came out of our neuropsych eval was that Mia is gifted. She has an IQ of 119, almost 120. And so she is considered gifted intelligence, which I could have told you, oh my lord, that girl picks up things like a sponge. It's ridiculous. And it came back that she has generalized anxiety, which again we knew, and also that she had ADHD combined type, which again we knew. And then it came back that she has, it's like the baby version of PTSD, not like the kid version. Like, it's a step down from PTSD because we've done so great in therapy and different things that she doesn't have like super haunting memories anymore or anything like that. So she still has some triggers related to her trauma, which include men in authoritative positions. That's a really big one. That's really hard for her. And there is some nervousness around officers that's getting better. But she did have to go and report her abuse to an officer, and I think that, even though we were trying to help, she still had to think about it and talk about it, and that wasn't super great. So that is what we left with. We also left with the professional who did her neuropsych happens to have children who are in the same district as Amelia is. And what we learned is that we already knew that we weren't going to probably get a heck of a lot of help, but we found out how bad it really was probably going to be. And we learned that our district has so many gifted kids in it, so many super smart kids in it, that average smart kids end up feeling really stupid a lot. And so that's something, because she has, her ADHD mostly lies in selective attention. And so she may end up really struggling as she gets older. And what that means, there's sustained attention and there's selective attention. Sustained attention is mostly what Michael struggles with. Sustained attention is keeping your focus on one thing for any major amount of time. Selective attention is having difficulties paying attention and keeping attention while there are other distractions. So for Mia, if somebody moves or if somebody talks, or if there's just noise, she loses her focus and her place. And that then makes her work very difficult. Which brings me to school starting. So a week ago, Amelia started first grade. Yay! She's a big first grader now. And I had to call Pacer. And if you're in Minnesota, Pacer is like your best friend. They have education advocates. They will help you navigate the education experience for your kiddo who has special needs, and they'll help you help you to fight to get the help that they need. So we called Pacer, and Pacer helped us get in a meeting with the school and the school social worker, the school psychologist, in order to decide like a sped eval, what we were going to do for a sped eval. And we had that meeting, and I was absolutely gutted. And I'm going to explain it, I promise, but oh, man. Yes, I know it's the first week of school, but we dealt with this all last year. And it's super difficult to watch your kids struggle and not get the help. So last year, when we started having all these struggles with Mia, we went to her teacher and we did all this, like, hey, can you give us a hand? And here's the problem with kids who have anxiety, who are incredibly intelligent. They don't want to look different than anybody else. Part of their anxiety is looking different. Yeah, excuse all the meds back there. Part of their anxiety is looking different than everybody else. And so she will hold it together until her last breath so that she doesn't look different than her peers. And so we went into this meeting and we went over her background and everything like that. And then they said, well, here's the deal. We don't see anything in school. And Minnesota state statute says that there has to be a recognizable issue between two or more teachers. And she has a new gym teacher this year. She has a new first grade teacher this year. The only teachers that are the same are her art and her music. And she doesn't have issues in those classes. That's not her sustained attention or even selective attention really in those classes. And so they don't feel that the teacher knows her well enough. That's fine. But how are we going to get her to function? And I was getting so angry and so pent up that I finally said, as I'm trying not to cry, and probably in not the very nicest tone I've ever said anything to school administration, at some point, this is not going to be worth it for her mental health, and we're just going to have to pull her from school. Then all of a sudden, we started having suggestions about things that we could possibly do to help her become a better student, because she's borderline failing math, yet has an IQ of 119 and could successfully solve these math problems during her neuropsych and all summer. So why is she failing in school? It's a good question, right? So our original thought was, well, we'll do a Google Docs. We'll do a Google Docs between myself, the superintendent, or not the superintendent, sorry, the social worker, and her teacher. And that way we can all kind of correspond, and I can say what I'm seeing here at home, and then they can say what they're seeing at school. And we can kind of try and like figure out where we can make things better for Mia. So then we decided that Mia's learning to write because she's in first grade. So she's learning how to write and read and all these fun things. And Mia can tell me at home how she's feeling. She can tell me all these wonderful ideas that she has that she thinks will help her. And then they're not being translated at school because she's not telling anybody at school. So why don't we do a written notebook? So Mia can write all these things that she's feeling, and then you can correspond between myself and you and her. And so we did it for 2 days. We did it Thursday and Friday, and then Monday, tomorrow will be our third day of doing it. And the first day, I don't think they were ready for all the things that this 6-year-old had to tell them. one of their biggest kickbacks to helping her and to giving her more one-on-one attention is that Mia is so social and she wants to be part of the group and she wants to be like with everybody and talk with everybody and she doesn't like missing class. The last 2 days that we have done this notebook, Mia has written both days about how she needs more privacy when she does her work. Backtrack to the meeting, because this will make sense. One of the things that the school psychologist said was that at some point Mia needs to take responsibility for her own mental health. Now, this is the kid who goes into the psychiatrist's office and has a conversation with the psychiatrist about how she feels like she's doing on her meds and the psych feels like she's doing, and I just say yeah or no, or I think this might be just slightly different. And then they make up her treatment plan, and I get a, Mom, are you okay with this? Yes or no? Yes, I think this needs to be tweaked, or no, that's fine. That sounds good to me. Whatever she wants to do. So Mia has incredible understanding and responsibility over her own mental health. And so the first day she wrote that her high of the day was that they got to use those privacy folders. And if you're my age, you remember that we used to stick up like 3 of those cheap paper folders so that you had this when you tested. And now they have actual really nice partition ones that they don't have to use multiple folders. And so her high of the day was getting to use that because her friends couldn't look at her and she couldn't look at her friends. And then she also wrote that the classroom is super loud and so she can't find her earplugs in her desk and she doesn't know where her headphones were. And so what can they do? And she also was afraid she was going to forget what she needed to eat. Because of Mia's food allergies, there's a lot of anxiety surrounding food. And so we wrote all those down. Mia wrote a bunch, and then she got tired and she said, Mom, can you just finish it? And I said, yeah, I can do that. And so I finished it the first night. The first night I came back, the teacher had addressed the issues in class that Mia had written without addressing them as if they were worries. She just showed Mia where she could find her allergen menu in the classroom. They went and they found her headphones. And it wasn't saying, I saw that you wrote or Mom wrote that this and this and this is happening. It was just a, hey, by the way, this is like where this stuff is. And it worked really well. So I was super hopeful. And I was like, yay, this is going to work out great. Day number 2, Mia writes one sentence. I need more privacy when I do my work, so that I don't copy my friends, and so that I can focus in my own brain. Mia understands the fact that because of her ADHD and her impulse control issues, that sometimes she copies from her friends. It's very easy to look over and see what your friend is doing and feel very anxious about the fact that you're not doing as well, and then just copying the answers. So Mia knows that the easiest way for her to do her work is completely blocked off. Remember that this is the kid they won't help because she's too social. But here she is taking ownership of her mental health, saying, no, I need the privacy. I need my own space. I need to be blocked off. And the second day, the note came back and told me all the wonderful things that Mia had done in the day. It didn't address Mia. There was nothing for Mia to read. And it didn't address her concern at all about getting that more privacy. So now I'm very concerned this week about what happens in that notebook and if they're actually going to take it and use it as these are her concerns and how can we make things better, or if we're going to be back to fighting. And as a special needs parent, that is incredibly a difficult place to be, and it is a heartbreaking place to be because, as I said, I decided to make this video mid-panic attack where she cried because she didn't want to go to school tomorrow because she didn't know what was going to happen. And even though I walked her through everything, there's still so much anxiety surrounding school that just shouldn't have to be there. She shouldn't have to worry about how she's going to do on her paper compared to her friends. She's 6. So I promise that I will update you guys as the school year rolls on and as we figure out what's going to happen. I will guaranteely tell you that her dad and I have decided that by Thanksgiving break, if things aren't better, then we're gonna be done. So, all right. Thanks, guys, for watching.